Time for another Roo Tale. Today I'm going to talk to you about a guy that I used to work with at a place called High Speed Steel. You've heard me refer to it before. High Speed Steel had a lot of issues. There were a lot of people at that time who were doing meth, and you can hear me talk about that in another one of my Roo Tales that I made earlier on. That wasn't the only problem we had. The guy I'm going to tell you about is a guy we used to call Fat Freddy. Fat Freddy was a pretty big character, and he used to show up on the job site, and he'd be pretty drunk. He wouldn't be hungover. He would be still pretty drunk. And he had a habit of drinking peppermint schnapps, so his breath was great. But he'd come rolling up to the job site on any given day of the week, and he'd be still pretty drunk. Now, how exactly he got there driving without getting himself into trouble, I'm not really sure, but he managed to successfully do it. Well, the problem that you have when that kind of thing happens and you're a foreman, first of all, you can't let him work because he's not safe to be on the iron. The other thing is that you can't let him go home. So because once he shows up on the job site, you can't turn him back loose knowing that he's under the influence and let him drive himself home, because that presents another safety issue. So what I used to tell him is, Freddy, you can't walk iron today. And he'd insist he could, and he was pretty loud, and he was always coming up to me going, "Oh, it'll be all right, I'll be fine, I'm ready to go to work." Well, no, Freddy, you can't do that. So here's what you're going to have to do. I can't let you go home. So go over to your truck, take a nap, sleep it off, and by this afternoon we'll see where you are. So I'd send him over to his truck, let him sleep it off, and then at the end of the day, after he'd sobered up and was okay to drive, then we'd let him go. But the problem is alcohol and work. That's the problem. Now, years ago, there used to be a lot of alcohol on job sites. There was a lot of drinking. A lot of guys would have to have a drink before they get up on the iron. They wouldn't be able to successfully walk iron unless they'd had a drink or two in them. So years ago, it was extremely common for there to be alcohol being taken on a job site during lunchtime, or sometimes guys would bring it in their thermoses. So this was much more common in years gone by, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen today. However, there's inherently a danger with people trying to mix alcohol and construction work of any description, especially iron work. And so this is something that has to be addressed. Alcoholism is a major problem in our society. There are a lot of people with alcohol addictions. When it happens that they try to mix alcohol and work, it doesn't work out well. The potential for accidents increases exponentially when people have some form of alcohol on board. So first of all, if you've got an alcohol problem, get some help. There's plenty of 12-step programs. If you have a alcohol problem, nobody else knows about it, you can go to the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. You can get counseling. You can go to a 12-step program. There's a lot of ways to deal with it. My counsel to you is don't come on site with alcohol on board. Sooner or later, somebody's going to figure that out. And we've obviously encountered circumstances like this over a course of years. Fat Freddy is the example that I've chosen to use today. So if you've got those kind of issues, get some help, talk to somebody, go to a 12-step program, and make sure to come to the job site clean and sober so you can get a good day's work in, and there's much less chance of you having an accident. And I just wanted to pass that on to you today, and think seriously about it. And like I say, if you got an issue, get some help. We'll be glad to point you the right direction.